This is potentially destroying your dating strategy and also your ability to hold on to long-term relationships. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Yamil Sr. and in this video we're going to talk about a concept that is potentially destroying your ability to be in a committed relationship or destroying your ability to even get into a relationship. So the thing that I'm going to talk about here is called perception bias. Now that means that usually, all of us do this, by the way. This is universal across the board, men, women, children, we all do it. But it's very, very prevalent in terms of intersex dynamics, meaning that in dating, oftentimes the biggest problems with miscommunications, the biggest misunderstandings happen because of this perception bias. Now, perception bias means that based on your perception, you basically assume that other people see things the same way that you see them, they believe the same things that you believe, and that they are going to view problems or view situations in the same way that you would. So by thinking that everybody sees the world as you see it, and this is not a conscious thought, this is more of a reflex, this is more of an unconscious belief that we have oftentimes. We think that a woman should be able to understand where I'm coming from because I would react this way, but she's not reacting to the same way, so therefore I feel frustrated, and that's where tension comes from. So there's a lot of problems in terms of relationships and in terms of dating because of this situation. Women expect men to behave like women, and men expect women to behave like men. And when that doesn't happen, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of tension there because we're expecting the other person to behave in the way that we would behave. So understanding that you are subject to this bias allows you to sidestep it and start looking at things from the perspective of the other person. And once you do that, if you're able to do that, if you're able to sort of step outside of yourself for a second, then you are able to do something that is ahead and far beyond what most people do, which is to be empathetic of the other person. And I know that this phrase gets thrown around, especially nowadays. It gets thrown around all the time that it's kind of lost all of its meaning. But empathy is the ability to be in other people's shoes. It's not just, trying to appear as the more compassionate person. It's really putting yourself in their shoes and really trying to see what's their perspective. What do they believe? Why do they believe what they believe? How do they react to certain situations? What's the thought process behind it? If you're able to understand this and plant yourself these questions, it's much easier for you to navigate these situations because you can start to anticipate where this other person is going to go. So instead of you trying to get women to adapt to how you view things or believe the things that you believe, you should be able to look at how they experience the world, and so that you can understand them better and have better communication with them and have better relationships. So you're going to avoid a lot of problems inside of relationships if you're able to look at things from the other person's perspective. And this also goes for dating. If you're looking at women as this strange group of overly emotional men, you're always going to be disappointed and baffled by their behavior because you're always looking at it from the perspective of why don't they behave like I would? And you're always going to be perplexed by this confusing situation. But the more you understand that they are different and that they have different experiences and different ways of looking at life, the more you can start to understand, okay, this is why they believe this is why they want this is why they behave in this situation. And the more you understand that, the more you can communicate effectively to them. And so the more attractive you become as well. And also it facilitates you dating because you can kind of understand where they're coming from. This also happens in the other way around. This is why a lot of women don't understand men at all, because they expect men to behave like they would. But understanding this yourself allows you to communicate that to the other person. If you're in a relationship with a woman and you're noticing that she is expecting you to behave like a woman would, then you can start to explain to her, okay, this is where we are different, and these are the things that you're missing. And when you're trying to explain this, don't try to talk down to her. Don't try to explain things from a place of you don't know, but I know. Don't try to speak to her like you're her teacher or anything like that. Just be respectful and really communicate to them like you would like to be communicated to, that there is a difference between you and her, and the main difference is you're a man and she's a woman, and those differences matter, and those differences create different experiences and beliefs and things that you both are looking for that the other person is not necessarily thinking about. And so understanding those differences allows you to come together and have a better interaction. So here's the thing that we need to kind of do to challenge this perception bias. The thing that we need to do to challenge this perception bias is to challenge ourselves, to challenge our own beliefs, to challenge our own ideas, to question ourselves. When we start to think that things should be a certain way, we need to ask ourselves, is that true? How do I know this to be true? And when you ask yourself these questions, look for an answer. Don't just sit there and just sit there in silence. Think of an answer. And when you come up with an answer, you can start to kind of dig deeper into why you believe that things should be this way or that way. Why it is that you came up with this belief. Is this your belief, or is this something that was given to you? Is this something that you believe because of some experience that you had? Is that experience the definitive experience? Is there a possibility that you're wrong? Is there a possibility that there's another explanation? Think about these things deeply and ask yourselves questions. And the more you ask yourself questions, the more you start to understand your own perspectives, and the better you can start to defend your position and understand that your biases come from different places, but those biases are not necessarily wrong, but they're not necessarily right. And sometimes, in terms of men and women, these perceptions are not bad. They're not erroneous. What they are they're different. They're different perspectives. And so these different perspectives can come together and complement each other because you're getting a whole picture. It's like looking at an object. Let's say, for example, this notebook, right? You have this notebook. So if you look at it from this perspective, it looks a certain way. But if you look at it from that perspective, it looks completely different, right? And this doesn't mean that this perspective is wrong or that this perspective is wrong. It means that they're both right, but they're from different angles. And so the more we understand that, the more we can come closer to what would actually be the truth, not your truth, not my truth, the truth. And the more we can come together and have a better relationship. What do you think about this perception bias? Have you been guilty of this in the past? Let me know in the comments. Be respectful about it. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. Master your destiny and make this an amazing day. Take care.